Are you stuck in the endless cycle of I have no experience, so I can't get a job, but without a job, I can't get any experience, and it is so frustrating? But I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be this way. We just need to approach it a little bit less conventionally. I will share with you 6 steps or 6 mindset shifts that you need to take to get out of this loop. And for context, I got my very first UX design job with no experience and portfolio full of example projects, so it's doable. The first mindset shift is that portfolio doesn't have to be real. It needs to feel real. We're starting with portfolio because portfolio is the most important thing for finding your very first job. Many designers get totally hung up on I have no clients, so I have no portfolio work to show. And this is what I hear so many times during the coaching sessions. Actually, one of the last month coaching sessions inspired this whole video. I figured that finally I will just share insights with everyone to benefit everyone, not only the person who participated in the session. Okay, but back to the topic. I have no clients, so I have no portfolio work to show. Let's take a look at this situation with more of a problem-solving mindset, not necessarily complaining about the situation mindset. It is absolutely legit to build your portfolio on example projects, and you can actually find some briefs on my website, link below. And only because projects are not real, it doesn't mean that it is a shortcut to do less work. You actually need to go through the whole design process, do the explorations, research, usability testing with your friends, gather some data about the problem. So the whole process needs to be the same. The only difference is that the product that you're designing for doesn't actually exist. Remember, the objective is to make the case studies feel real. So you need to show your skills, produce high-quality designs, use a design system, etc. The objective of the whole portfolio is to give a proof that you know the design process and that you can execute designs of high quality repetitively, many times. And the recruiters are focusing on that. So, of course, it would be better if you have real-life projects in your portfolio, but we're working with what we're working with. We need to make it work for this very first iteration of your portfolio. So, example projects, that's the solution. And one important thing here is to mark those projects as example projects or concept projects in your portfolio. By the way, imagine if someone wrote actually like a fake project. I would appreciate it, I would hire them, but I'm not everyone, so just do concept project or something of this sort. And if you want to learn more about structuring your portfolio, get a Notion template maybe, a free design course, things like that, check resources in the description below. I've listed all of them under portfolio headline. The next one is a juicy one. Double down on your unfair advantage. And the common advice for beginners is to start with learning the design process and all the basic design skills like prototyping and creating mockups, etc. And it is a good advice, but everyone does it. So you need to take it one step further. You need to find what is unique about you, what skills come really easily to you, and double down on it. Have a good base of those basic skills and then develop the ones that are your unfair advantage. And this will really speed up your hiring process and will help you differentiate from the ocean of other designers. Are you good with data? Maybe you can draw and you can create some UI illustrations, or maybe you're a great writer and you can get into UX writing, and here is a book for you if you want to check it out. Or maybe from those standard UX and UI design skills, you can choose something that comes really easily to you. Maybe you can be a master of usability testing or whatever it is that comes really easily to you, that is effortless. This is where you should double down. You can also niche down to a specific area of design. So for example, mobile apps, especially if there are some companies that you're interested in, hiring for those skills in your area, it could be a really good strategy as well. I'm really specific and putting pressure on creating those key differentiators for you because we need to think outside the box here. There are so many designers produced every single year by all the universities and bootcamps and people who just learn for themselves that you need to do something to kick their butts in the job market. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a competition. There's space for everyone. There's not, but there is, but there is not. Another mindset shift is that at this point, you're in for experience, not for big money yet. Even though we said that you can build portfolio of example projects and everything will be great, gaining experience should still be at the very top of your list. So sometimes you shouldn't limit yourself to paid opportunities only. Sometimes it makes sense to take a free gig or something that pays really, really low just to gain experience, have something for your portfolio, and in the long term, it will pay off. We need to think really strategically here in a long term. You can look for internships in medium and large companies. It is a great opportunity to get to know the everyday life of a UX designer, how it is, and gain experience in this corporate world. And also, if you leave a good impression, maybe they will hire you when the opening opens. You can also take on some clients who don't pay really well, but you can execute a full project with them. They allow you to do it. They have access to users, they have access to product they're developing. It's a great experience, so totally recommend. You can also work with startups that didn't get the funding yet, or they are at their seed round and they cannot hire a full-time designer yet. It is a great experience, you will learn a lot, and also if they get funding eventually, maybe they will hire you. You can also create a side project, like an app that you've invented, designed, and even built with one of those no-code app builders. I totally recommend it. It's great for your portfolio, great for talking through the experience of building and creating the whole product during the recruitment process. Really senior thing to do. And also, think big, dream big. Maybe it will take off so much that you will never really need a job. And the last idea are hackathons. Hackathons are events where people collaborate on a project for a short period of time. It sometimes is a competition as well. So you can meet people who have ideas for the project, they group together, you can be a designer there and collaborate with them just to gain an experience and potentially share it in your portfolio. And speaking of engineers, you can also take a look at some online communities and look for engineers who are working on their own side projects. In many, many cases, they need or would love to have a designer on board, but they just cannot afford it at this point because their UI skills are quite poor, the UX could be so much better for the project, and they would be grateful if you can step in and actually help them. Just make sure beforehand that you can actually share that in your portfolio, that they don't mind. It's a great experience to work with an engineer like this for your portfolio, but also for the recruitment process because you already have an experience working with an engineer, you can talk about it. You can also work with designers, but I would be looking into working with designers who are more senior because, when all beginners work together, it's a little bit like blind leading the blind. You would like to level up a little bit more, so being around people who are more senior, that will help you more. The fourth mindset shift that you need to make to get out of this loop of no experience, no job is to realize that you are enough. You are enough to apply for this job even if you don't hit all the requirements. You are enough to apply for this job even if they ask for 1 year of experience and you have none. Let's treat it as an experiment. The worst thing that can happen is that you will receive a rejection email and they will say no. And the best thing that can happen is that you will get hired and move your career forward. And for the rejection emails, you need to really grow an armor around you because you will be receiving them throughout your career. Opportunities will fail, the things will happen. I know it's easier said than done, especially at the beginning of your career, but trust me, you need that for your mental health. And coming back to being enough, you need to understand that you already have value for this company. Of course, don't go crazy if they ask for 5 to 7 years of experience. Probably it's a waste of time to apply if you have no years of experience. But I would say up to 3 years of experience, it's fine. Definitely the 1 to 2 year mark, I would apply for those jobs for sure. Sometimes I see my students, and it is true especially for us ladies, stop themselves from applying for a job only because they don't know one tool that was listed. It's usually Photoshop, and you wouldn't use it as a UX designer anyways. It is just in requirements because they put it there, so don't worry about it. Or sometimes 2 skills are missing from the list. And I'm here to tell you that for your whole career, there's a piece of advice here, apply before you're 100% ready. It will pay off, and if you're 100% ready, it's probably too late and you should move on to a bigger, better opportunity. Okay, Alicia, but what should I do if they ask me during the interview about my lack of experience? Legit question. I was wondering about it as well at the very beginning. So they already invited you to the interview. So it means that they see value in you already, and you just need to answer this question, listing your skills and your growth mindset and showing how you are valuable to the company already with those skills, even without the experience. And in general, express that you are willing to gain this experience, that you embrace that you don't have it, you have skills, you have value, and this is how you can contribute to the company. That's the template here. Mindset shift 5 is that you have valuable things to share online, even if you're not a senior designer yet. And I say it because it is extremely important to start building your online presence as soon as possible into your design career. And I'm not talking about being an influencer and sharing your morning routine or doing vlogs, or if it's your jam, just go for it, but it is not necessary for the UX design career. What I am talking about is to become a thought leader, starting with really small steps, like creating an article a month and then some LinkedIn post connected to that and publish that. Start a discussion online. Just do something to start building your presence. The goal here is to go beyond only designing as soon as possible. And looking back, honestly, I made this mistake because I thought I have to be senior enough, whatever it means, to start sharing things online. And I thought I needed more credibility. So 10 years of experience, speaking at conferences, having students that were successful in my past, teaching, etc. And of course, it is helpful. It helped me build my credibility and also be able to talk about things from a better perspective. But had I started my journey earlier and started creating and sharing content earlier, I would have learned faster and probably I would be in a better spot today than I am. As a junior designer, what you can share are things that are connected to your everyday work, like showing your process, how you work on projects, maybe some reflections regarding your mistakes that you made, or team dynamics, whatever it is that it is like current and fresh in your mind. What I would advise against is positioning yourself as a student or as a junior designer. I would advise to position yourself as a rising expert or like a success in progress designer who's developing and showing the journey from the very, very beginning, because it will help you, because you will not need to make this switch later on. This is the only advice. Other than that, share whatever it takes. You can always delete things. You can always, make things and change and rebrand later on. Just start doing it now. And the mindset shift number 6 is that networking events are not magic. There is a common advice for people who are looking for jobs to go to networking events. And from my personal experience, networking events are just full of people who are also looking for jobs. And I'm not saying it is impossible. It really depends on your area and your luck, honestly. But I wouldn't put all my eggs in this basket when looking for jobs. And don't get me wrong, building your network is extremely important, especially if it's a network of people who know what kind of designer you are, that you're a great designer to collaborate with, people who have connections, who work at the companies that they can recommend you to or maybe hire you directly. This is extremely valuable, but it doesn't happen at networking events, and it takes around 10 years, maybe 5 if you're really dynamic. So put effort into it over time outside of networking events. If you enjoyed this video, here is another one that you might like, how I got my very first UX design job in just 3 months. It outlines how to step-by-step learn design and get your first job in a relatively short time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you over in the next one.